Welcome back to the Four Podmen, the wrestling podcast we bring you each and every week on the Dynamo Podcast Network. Head over to YouTube, smash that subscribe and bell notification button. Audio versions of the show are available on Anchor, and you can contact the show on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Joining me as always.
Or Carl Noyle on 085.
Smoothmyballs.com. Anyway, lads, let's get into this. This is our review of Backlash, which just happened.
I did.
Lads, what do we think? I mean, I'm always kind of a little bit weird by these pay-per-views right after Mania because there's such a huge build-up to Mania, such a big show, and this year certainly delivered. And then we move from 50,000, 60,000 people in the stadium, and we're back in the Thunderdome. And it just feels kind of weird, doesn't it? And it's kind of like, well, how are you going to bring us on this journey now, which kind of starts now up till SummerSlam?
Relocate to Texas.
Yeah, or what's just why relocate? Just stay in Florida because it is open.
Yeah.
But the talk is, I read today they are going back doing live shows from July 15th, which is good news. So hopefully fans and all will be back in fully at that stage, and the Thunderdome will be resigned to history. But yeah, let's look at Backlash, I suppose. Let's start, Jay. The interesting thing was the sort of the layout of the card, where we start with Rhea Ripley, Asuka, and the Queen returns, Charlotte Flair.
Straight into wrestling. It was great. Again, it's like you said, the I suppose the juxtaposition between a somewhat traditional Mania and back to the dreary dome. It showed us exactly what we've been missing for a year, but we've become begrudgingly used to. And two, what the production team probably are loving right now. We finally got rid of the fans, but get to keep their money. This is great. Now let's lay out a show like we want to without them fuckers booing what we like. You know, it's there's an interesting thing there, but the opening up with a champ match and I get annoyed sometimes about wrestling fans ragging on Charlotte. Like, I mean, it's only when she gets into the ring and you see her work and you realise why the company is so fucking behind her and so propping her. Like, she can fucking go.
Do you know what, Jay? It's actually as soon as she steps out onto the entranceway.
Yeah, she's a star. She's a star. She's her father's daughter, and not only that, she ceased to be her father's daughter. She's her own entity now, and listen, shaking off that second name cannot be fucking easy. Of all the things in professional wrestling, that must be up there with carrying the Von Erich name. Do you know what I mean?
There's a reason that most kids, you know what I mean? There's a reason that there's not many Harts, there's not many Von Erichs, there's not many.
Yeah, it's such a large shadow to fill, and you're damned if you do, and you're damned.
The Von Erichs died with a chance, like, really.
No, but there's lots of them that have tried to get in, is what Jay was saying. Like, and
you can't wear your father's fucking career, or you can't wear it's just you're almost somewhat buried by the expectation of the traditional wrestling fans' mentality, and you have to fight like hell to get out of there. And you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. If you walk down and you're Charlotte Flair, it's you're only this and that because you're that. And if you walk down and you're like Hennig's son or DiBiase's son, and they give you a new moniker and allow you to try and say, okay, well, then show us what you got in your own merits. You can somewhat wilt in the sense that sometimes there's a benefit to that name, and then sometimes it's a detriment. And the needle is always swinging with how fickle the wrestling mentality is that year. But Charlotte is she's torpedoed all that bullshit and just got on with being who she is, and nothing get in her way. And it's tremendous to watch. Like, we've been enjoying the resurgence of well, not the resurgence, the rising, for want of a better term, of strong female wrestling, and it's been fun to watch. It has. I mean, Rhea and Asuka they're brilliant. You've got one that's this young fucking glowing future light, and you've got Asuka, which really, bless her, she's much better than a lot of the other women around her. Not through any detriment to their fault. It's not their fault. Again, it's a grassroots level where they're kind of all coming in at the same time, and there's even like men in increment, they get stronger in different increments. She's very good, and she comes from a very strong wrestling background from a country which almost reveres pro wrestling as a religion, whereas in America it's still very much kind of flesh opera, for want of a better term. But to see the three of them in the ring at the same time, it was fun to watch. You got Rhea, who's this new light. You got Asuka, who's a veteran and competent, capable, and exciting. And you got Charlotte, who's just like top billing anytime she steps into the ring, regardless of the gender on the card. And to open a match with these three, it was almost like again, like I said, right, the Mania thing is done now and we're going back to the Thunderdome, but here's our first match tonight and it's strong, it's entertaining, and even watching them morph Rhea Ripley into this weird Jared Leto Joker style fucking maniacal character, it bodes well for women's wrestling. And not to get too ahead of the card, it was a strong indication to me that going forward, women's wrestling is not what it was. It's going to be something different, and we're seeing these versatile stars. They've got 6 or 7 women who can carry a card, whereas usually it was one, and who can we throw against her? When you've got that many women in the mix, you have many different feuds you can work with for 2 or 3 years. While the rest of the girls are coming up behind them and ascending. It's healthy. That's
just on Charlotte there, lads. It could be might be a controversial statement, but I think there's going to be a generation of wrestling fans that think Charlotte was better than her dad. I genuinely think so. I think there will be a generation of wrestling fans that are going to think that.
I get what you're saying, but what they don't realise is everything around Ric Flair was about 5 years behind him in his vision for the future. Some men carry the business forward with them. And when you get the business to a certain point, you get a new birth of fans, like the PG era fans coming in, who won't sit down and watch hold matches and 45-minute fucking timeouts. And the landscape has changed. Well, and the comparisons will never be. To anybody who knows what they're talking about, they'll never.
I'm also going to add something controversial, but I actually don't give a flying fuck on this one. The current generation are fucking morons that don't want to be educated anyway. Like, the problem is people are so willing in 2020 and 21 to just accept what they're told in general. So, like, this is going to be the greatest WrestleMania of all time. They're going to go, oh, this is the greatest WrestleMania of all time. That's great. They won't go back and watch Steamboat and Macho. They'll be told that it was a great match and they'll just take your word for it.
I get you. They buy the script, hook, line, and sinker.
That's what I mean. I think people, we're in a generation now where, and I get what Joe was saying. Joe was 100% correct. I'm just kind of saying that it's wrong, obviously.
Oh, no, yeah.
I'm not saying, not what you're saying is wrong, but I'm saying their idea is wrong, is what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like,
you're wrong, Joe.
No, Joe's not wrong. Joe's right in what he's saying.
Joe's wrong,
the people that will come out with this absolute nonsense are wrong because they don't actually have. We're living in a world where attention span is at its lowest in history. You know what I mean? So for them, if you tell someone to go back and watch a match, or even in your day job, you tell someone to go and watch a great film, you know, if there's effort involved in finding it, they don't want to do it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas back in the day, you know, Jay could tell me, do you know what? Go and watch, I don't know, go and watch RoboCop. Get it from your local video store. You'd actually go out of work. That's my plan today. I'm going to go physically get that, and I'm going to rent it out, and I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to plan my evening around it. Boom. It's great. You know what I mean? I think we're living in a world now where attention span, and it is all because of these and because of the internet.
It's funny as well, though. You've got the funny thing we spoke about before with pro wrestling is it's generational. It is.
Yes.
Debate creates conversation, and conversation is where the art truly thrives. Like, for everyone who says you're wrong, there's one who says you're right, and that's when we get talking over points, and then we have to concede and hammer out middle ground.
Says when you've got a live TV show that when like you go out and you hit a bum move and they tell you to hit an ad break and they tell you to do it again, it's disregarding the live fans. And that's what WWE has been about since 1990. So that's why if anyone wants to tell me that that's pro wrestling, I say ask my bollocks, basically, because it's not. Pro wrestling is men doing it with the fuck ups involved too.
Yeah, no retakes. No retakes.
Exactly. And
raw
I think
and off the cuff.
Yeah, and I think that's why so many people, like the new school era that started in the kind of mid 2000s with Ring of Honor and all, were such fans of that, because it was like what you see is what you get. If you fuck up, pick yourself back up and do it again. You know what I mean? And yeah.
Go ahead, Jay. Use your finger up before me.
Yeah. But isn't that again? I know I harp on about this grassroots revival of classic and traditional pro wrestling, which is inevitable. It happens in every art form. Is it not wonderful that when the PG era kids who grew up accepting these fucking retake rematches as this is pro wrestling, and then two men go in there and do it live Raw and once, and they're like, "What's that?" Like
Yes.
you're like, "Oh, that's pro wrestling. Haven't you heard? Were you not seeing? Do. You know?
I'm not too sure I fully agree with the argument either, because I think now, like, if you tell someone to go back and look at Macho Man and Steamboat, it's all so easily accessible now. They don't have to pull out a video or a DVD. It's all there for them laid on the internet. So I'm not sure I fully agree with the argument. The other thing against that I would say as well is, you know, coming from my background, obviously with the shop and stuff like that, I am selling a hell of a lot more retro stuff than I am current stuff right now. To that younger audience, I have a lot more kids now coming into the shop looking for those old classic figures, the Andres, the Hogans.
Let me
the
ask
Warriors,
you a question,
all that.
Noel. Let me ask you
So
a question.
I'm not sure. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm not sure whether
True
we're
across the board.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Noel. I was actually just going to ask you the question also. Does that not lend itself to the point that I'm making, is because it's being sold that these are the legends? So, oh, well, I got to have some of that because they're legends. Have they actively gone back and watched this stuff? Like, have they actually actively gone back and watched the product then versus now? I mean, you're talking to four men here that have done a review.
I think.
Yeah, but I think if you put yourself in the mindset of a kid who's, say, a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old coming in with his dad to the shop, and, you know, he obviously has an option there to buy a Braun Strowman figure or a Roman Reigns figure, but he wants a Mr. Perfect one. He's probably not going in and making that decision on the strength of his dad beside him. He's probably looked up a couple of YouTube things. He probably has all the Rey Mysterio and John Cena figures that he wants, and he's probably looking for something a little bit different.
Well, I'd agree with that. But I'm talking about I think the point that Joe was making and the point that I'm kind of making is that we're talking about, say, the 20-year-olds to the 25-year-olds.
Oh,
you know
yes.
Yes.
The
little kids aren't my problem at the end of the day. I'm happy to hear that kind of thing. But it's these kind of, dudes that knew more than everybody. And it's kind of like they're the problem for me. Not the problem. I don't mean to say that. That's not fair. But I think they're kind of, again, they are the Generation Y or Generation Z or whatever they call them these days. Their attention span is so fucking far-fetched that they can watch a 1-minute clip of like an inside cradle and go, "Oh, I seen the whole match. Macho Man's a legend." You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know where you're coming from. but I'd also say as well, that age group compared to, I'd say, my age group and maybe Jay's, we're a little bit closer, but you guys are slightly younger than us. Yeah. They've a lot more coming at them, and they've a lot more decision making to make in terms of how they invest their time.
Sure.
Whereas you, as you know, we were all in. You would go down to your extra vision.
Sure,
you get like, Heart Foundation's greatest matches. You would absorb that all weekend. Sure. These guys are getting Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus. Everything is.
I agree. Noel, that's a great point. Great point. Yeah.
But it's true what they say. It is a good point. What seldom is wonderful. If we had 5 VHSs in the 80s, we watched every single one of them until we had to fix them with sellotape. Whereas with the network, like, I mean, I've got Netflix over there. Sometimes I just sit down and I'm like, I'm not watching anything. There's too many things on. Whereas with wrestling, it's different. With a young mind, you're like, I watched me 3 hours of Raw this week, but I don't have a job or a wife or a mortgage, so I've another 47 hours this week to kill. What's that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Joe, you were coming in with a point on that as well. On the fact that because you said Jay put his hand up first.
I can't remember, that was ages ago. I have no idea what it was.
There we go. I just wanted to do that to Joe to call him out. Lads, you gotta let Joe get in fresh, otherwise it's over.
Well, let's
you can forget about it.
Oh, actually, Joe, I remember your point. You were going to say, well, actually, Jay, you're full of shit. And that was it.
That was the
you
one.
You weren't wrong.
That was the one. However, on this occasion, Jay, you weren't full of shit. You weren't.
Well, I don't know what to do with that.
See, Joe, now what you caused. This is a review of Backlash, and now we're like going down the history of wrestling again.
All because
the queen is going to outgrow the king.
What can we say? Host, take control of this.
Anyway, absolutely. Match one. Anybody got any opinions on match one?
Well, I know.
I enjoyed it.
Rhea kept the title, didn't she? So
she did.
let's move on to the father and son gimmick. The little fella and the little bit bigger fella.
Yeah. The mask and the non-mask.
Yeah.
And
With the hood.
I tell you, looking at this match, guys, I actually really am enjoying Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. I like that dirty dog thing.
So brilliant.
Yeah.
And I just think it's really, really cool. Like,
it's two lads that are at that point now where they probably, again, didn't we talk about that a few weeks ago with the New Day, that there were just three lads
enjoying life.
Yeah, three black guys just thrown together, and they thought, let's just put them together. And now you've got Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, who look like just cheesy 80s lads.
Yeah.
That are basically like, it's Mr. Perfect and Rick Rude, really, isn't it? It's a modern.
And I love with Ziggler as well, the way, like, normally Ziggler is so refined and polished and all, but because he has this dirty dog thing going on, the hair's messy, he's toned down, he's getting real gritty and real sort of bikery, and
I miss gym day for this bag of donuts.
And even in the way they work, the way they're working a real old school style as well.
Yes, really, that's why that comes to mind, because you remember when Bobby Roode had the mustache.
Yeah,
and like it reeked of old school Rick Rude to me, and like, and
not an accident. Even the robe,
it's not an accident, and he has that big thick neck, and he just has that old school wrestler look. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm more man than you. That raspy voice. It's like, he's taking some neck bumps. He's fucking smoked some cigars. He's fucked some women. He's done everything that he needs. He's in
that hall of mustachioed legends that I love. You've got the Don Fries and the Rick Rudes. And do you know what I mean? It's just he's great now. Is again a man who's very comfortable with his place in the world, like the other fella. And when you get two men who are happy in life, they get real happy in wrestling, and it's just it comes.
It's about time for Dolph Ziggler, isn't it? Like, it's about time, because I mean that lad, like, realistically, he thought, and a lot of other people thought, he was the Shawn Michaels, and he had a bit of a bad attitude going back to lads saying pop that, and how he didn't get the head slapped off him, I don't know.
Because they couldn't.
Well, I'll tell you why, because he's an NCAA champion, and he's a legit tough guy. So unlike Shawn Michaels, he'd fuck you up.
And a great wrestler. He's the IC division in one man, like.
But he seems to have found, I think Ziggler seems to have found, like, comfort with his place within the company, like you mentioned there. Joe, what do you think of Ziggler and Rude? Because, like, I know Bobby Roode is a guy that you definitely love, being a tits and ass man. TNA.
Who, me? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're Joe.
No,
you Joe Biden. I'm going to wear a MAGA hat next week, and then you'll react.
No, you froze on me, so I wasn't sure who you were talking
That's all right.
You were going through a tunnel.
I was actually going to mention that like, he honed his craft in TNA over the years. But look, I've loved Bobby Roode for many a year, when he was doing his beer money thing. And when he started that whole when he started that whole robe wearing stuff, when he went singles. He's been fantastic for years, and it's WWE still, like, in NXT they use him well, but they're hopefully on the main roster, where they tend to get it wrong more times than they get it right. Hopefully they start to do something there. But just on something on the card about this match. This match, to be honest, was the only match where a title was ever going to change hands. The result of the others was pretty much in the bag. And this was the only one where you said, they might actually hold on just to be, because Vince might want to be an asshole to the fucking fans and just let them keep it. But, it was the only one that was ever that might change. All the others were too predictable, to be honest. All the other championships.
Kind of works for them to chasing belts as opposed to having them as well, though, for me, I think. Do you know what I mean? I think there's a making of a chasing as opposed to strutting around wearing,
Jay, I've got an idea here as well that I know you'll back me up on. And it's not often that, like...
Is it drinking?
Well, all right, yeah, we can do that. No, but I got an idea that I know you'll back me up on. You know the way, like, Ziggler's hair is all over the shop and all, and he's kind of have that mad thing. Why doesn't Bobby Roode just go all out and get that old Rick Rude mullet? I would.
It's inevitable.
It's got, like, because he's got that kind of, like, boss look at the moment, and you're like, you're missing one thing. You're missing one thing. Just did a little bit of length at the back. Everything up here is fine.
Where's
Just
that
a
party at the
little
back,
bit.
son?
Oh man, I'm telling you, if he went there, lads, if anyone at WWE marketing or creative is watching this, right, you're welcome. Get that man to get a mullet going.
Have you seen Bobby Roode with long hair?
Oh yeah. It's divine, man. It's awesome.
I also want them to pick a Survivor Series match, them too. I want to have a classic 5v5 and just that mid-card fucking 80s style heels versus a bunch of baby faces. I want that
all kinds of pink and lime green colours in there.
Yeah.
I do worry though, lads, I have to say.
What?
I worry that they're going to split them up now that they've lost the title. I really worry about that.
Really? I know it would be stupid, wouldn't it? Like, I mean,
how many times have you seen them do it?
I know. You're not wrong.
I'm going to caveat that with a point, right? And what I was watching this, I was struck by something.
Put your finger down, Jay.
On another thing. No, where were we? No, I was watching them and I enjoyed the match for what it was. But match aside, it just. One thing I noticed in the first match led into a notion that I took in this second match. I mean, you've got these two men who work together with a charisma which just it's screen time. It appeals. Watch me, and then you've got the father son. They're obviously going nowhere for a while. That's Ray's place in the card now, looking after his boy for the next year or two,
which is fair.
Which is absolutely fair. But then you've got the Miz and Morrison who are working very well together. You've got the Usos there working well together. You've got. I believe I haven't seen much of it, but Randy and fucking Riddle, I think, are running together for
think
right
they're the
now.
best tag team in the world, by the way. I've said it for a long time.
Right?
The Usos, for me personally.
But look at it. We've ragged on WWE's approach to tag wrestling for so long, and rightly so. It was toilet.
Yeah.
But right off the top of the bat, there's 5 quality, charismatic tag teams that are working together. I don't remember the last time in my viewing where. I know there's 2 shows, but I don't watch the weeklies. I watch the pay-per-views because I have no interest in the EastEnders aspects of storylines. Just put them men into the ring and let me see how they work together. That's
fair.
Meat and 2 veg. That's what we're here for. Oh, there's some healthy tag teams in there right now that are viewable. It's not like they're being rammed down our throat. It's like, these 2 cunts, brilliant. Let's see what these are at. Do you know what I mean? I don't remember the last time that happened. I don't.
Joe should react to that one because
this is putting it out there for you.
Yeah, that's his bag.
Look, the last time I can think of where they had that many good tag teams was the Attitude Era.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you had the New Age Outlaws, you had the Hardys,
Headbangers,
Christian, the Dudleys, the Acolytes. There was, Jesus, how many other? I'm trying to think.
Headbangers. They were early Attitude Era. Sorry.
Oh, the Headbangers were still around, but they were lounging in the hardcore title.
The Godwins were still there, weren't they? Until
I think the Godwins were gone at that stage.
yeah, but look, I know what you're saying. There was a healthy tag division in the Attitude Era.
Yes, like it was a healthy tag division. Yet they kept putting the straps on the likes of Big Show and Kane and
the odd couples.
Jericho and Big Show, remember?
They were throwing it on teams.
Jericho.
Yes.
Yeah, they were throwing it on teams that weren't actual teams. Like I remember one. I think it was a SmackDown or a Raw or something, and Big Show and Rock were having a rivalry, but they were thrown together as a tag team, and they were sent out to take on the New Age Outlaws, and Rock went out, and there's no sign of Big Show, and the match started, and he bet the piss out of the New Age Outlaws on his own. They were tag champs at the time.
That can happen in real
and then bollocks, and then Big Show's music hit, and that was the only thing that stopped The Rock from winning it on his own, winning the tag titles on his own. That kind of shit really pisses me off when you have an actual established tag team and one guy goes out and beats the piss out of them, or a made-up tag team goes out and beats them.
Yeah, they're validating high paychecks over cohesive work. You're right. Yeah.
Just to help your heart rate a little bit, because I can see you getting hot. I can see you going red. That was a long time ago, Joe.
That's still real to him, damn it.
He's rocking that Trump red there, isn't he?
Oh, he's a definite right winger.
Don't expect any man rocking a handlebar mustache to remain calm talking about things that he loves. That's a rule.
That's why
it's
Joe
a rule
loves
of
Donald
fash.
Trump with the handlebar and all. Hell yeah,
but
Prez.
This is an Eli Drake shirt. Never mind LA Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, man, tag teams and more than two.
Jay, that's a great point that I'm actually glad that you brought to my attention, actually, because I never actually thought about that realistically.
Yes, I think they're slow grooming a division, and
the one thing about
Peaches.
this match, the one thing about this match, when they announced the whole father and son thing, I looked over at my wardrobe and I saying, "I'm your pappy" T-shirt, and I said, "You fuckers." I said, "He's Eddie Guerrero's son. Stop this!
you done me dirty.
You done me again." You know.
I will say this I'm going to keep zoning out of what the matches are and their importance to me from a bigger picture perspective. But what I don't like is when fucking, Rey Mysterio goes down there and it takes two quality, high caliber wrestlers beating the piss out of him for that long. And he's still fighting back. I'm sorry. There's believable, then there's believable. These two men are good. They're wearing your belts, and they can't break up this guy who didn't even have another eye 6 months ago or 3 months ago. I mean, I'm glad his eye grew back, don't get me wrong. But Rude and fucking Ziggler beating the piss out of you for that long. Come on.
Yeah, like they're two tough motherfuckers. Like,
and then the guy with the busted ribs come down and wins with the frog splash.
12 ribs and one eye. 12 ribs and one eye takes the belts off these two fucking specimens.
It is kind of annoying because, like, I look at Rey Mysterio and I'm with a lot of people. I think Rey Mysterio is one of the
he's a legend,
innovative best wrestlers of all time. Personally,
yeah, he's a legend. Nobody will disagree.
And I mean that, inch for inch, pound for pound. I think he's easily top 10 if you're looking at skills alone, and not just a luchador. I mean, you're talking about one Mexican kind of a wrestler that had to learn one style and came in to the kind of into the left-hand style, let's so to speak, with the left arm, and literally just grasped it. I mean, my God, anybody out here listening to this and thinks I'm talking shit and you just know Rey Mysterio from WCW, please go back and watch WCW every week.
Oh, he's brilliant. He's brilliant.
He is, in my opinion, if someone said to me he's on their Mount Rushmore, without a shadow of a doubt, they have every right to say that. There's a case to be made that pound for pound, bell to bell, that Rey Mysterio is the best wrestler of all time. He's fucking phenomenal, and he still is. You know what I mean? It's incredible, and I agree with what Jay said. I just wanted to make that point there because I've been watching a lot of Rey again, and good Lord, and I think
he is brilliant. It's in his blood. It's different with him.
Yeah, I think what WWE done here with Rey was like they saw the mask, and went marketing, ha ha. There we go. We put the belt on him. We gave him the sympathy belt.
Well, a smarter run for these two. Yeah. Well, look, nobody's going to argue with that. Rey earned that.
No, me neither.
Not for any other reason. Like
he did, but then he was back in place. It's like the Daniel Bryan thing. It's like we get a guy, we give him the belt, and then he'll go away. But unfortunately, with Daniel Bryan, it didn't go away. But he was buried because he was with his mom. Kane what did Kane do? He dragged. Anyway, let's get back to Backlash. Sorry.
Yeah, but brilliant. It's usually me ranting. That was a pleasure to listen to.
No problem, Jay. Yeah, you're rubbing off on me, brother.
from a storytelling perspective, there's a program here that could have went for a long time simply because of the personal nature of a father-son team. What they should have done was have the two boys beat the living piss out of One Eye Ray. I mean, fucking Adam West up, and then just leave him on the outside and stand there with their arms, because the son's going to have to fucking broke rib limp his ass down to help his pappy, and then just smash him up as well, and then lord it over the pair of boys, and then give them a Rocky program where it's like, I need to grow a better eye and you need to grow better ribs, and we're going to take these boys. This is what pro wrestling's about, and just do a little bit longer than look. Me and you will beat the piss out of Ray for fucking 10 minutes. Then
go away for 2 months, man. Like I know they can't do the slow build back in the day that they used to do, where you go away for 6 months and whatnot. But go away for 2 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah, even a month.
Come back
even a
and
month.
ready, and then it makes all the sense in the world to me. Then
build it to SummerSlam.
Exactly, Noel. There you go on on one of the big four. Exactly. Yeah.
But as I said, lads, it was the only title change that was ever going to happen.
Yes.
So I wonder if it was a case of look, we can't have a pay-per-view with this many titles on the back
Fair.
and
No,
not
that's
change
fair.
one of them.
Well, you
And
got
that's
the
way
old
they
man in
That's
there
fair,
just
but
trying to
right.
swerve, you know? Yeah.
My proxy comment, the first thing I thought about when they went over was, well, Dominic's just being robbed of his moment in front of a crowd actually clapping, because there's not a hope in hell that a crowd wouldn't be ravenous for Ray and his son.
Yeah.
And it could have been, we all know the famous,
SummerSlam, yeah.
you know what I mean? It's almost a thing where you pick up the belt and get down on your knees and do a little cry because it's an emotional thing. Well, it's levels again with a father and son. It could have
100%,
been, it could have been in front of a live crowd, gold.
There's a
But
scary
in front of a
thing
load of
happening.
tellies.
There's a scary thing happening in front of our viewers' very eyes that me and Jay are just in agreement to the point there. It's like, yes, I'm doing Jay's rants
Well, you know what? You're wrong. And I'll tell you why.
later.
Well, no, like, I mean, compare, right, what happened there.
No,
you had a father and
it's
son
100%.
working a match against two really strong men. You had
Yeah.
Ray looking great in a fucking fresh bleeding Batman costume, the one that owns my heart. And essentially what happened was this fine legacy family moment of a, whatever he is, a fourth or fifth generation, whatever fucking Ray's Eddie's son is. It just looked like it happened in the centre aisle of a fucking Dixon's in the Oilac Centre or something. All these tellies staring out and had this emotional moment. I'm like, the pop for that live could have been something
I
else.
think we're all in agreement
I
here.
mean,
They did it to protect Rude and Ziggler.
Listen, the whole thing of sending the boy away, right? And I mean this with all due respect, sending the boy away because the kid has obviously got some sort of talent. You know what I mean? Obviously, he's not got the physique that his dad had and all that. Like he
doesn't need it.
I would have. Oh well, to be fair, the way they have him gimmicked up, no. But I mean, at the same time, I would probably bring him personally down to the Performance Center and get him in a bit of better shape as well. That's just my own personal opinion.
Look, he did all right for
It's
only a tag belt. But
yeah, I'm just saying, I
belt
would get him down. You know, keep him fresh anyway, personally, or whatever. Forget about changing his look anyway. But the one thing that definitely should have been done, as I said, go away for a couple of months. Come back to the SummerSlam, and you know
Rocky IV montage shit.
That's the time. Yeah, and Rocky IV montage. Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
I have a bone to pick with Jay there. Only a tag team belt. Fuck you. I love those belts. I love that division.
We are rebuilding.
Yeah,
we are rebuilding right now. They are
you disrespect those belts and say it's just a tag team belt. Fuck you, Jay.
Whoa, everybody! Joe's woke up. I will tell you right now, what they are is only a tag team belt. And you know why? Because they've been devalued to the point where they have no meaning. Long programs with great feuds with men who deserve to hold on to them belts in a mix of teams that want them just as bad as the guys holding them could make them tag team championship titles. But right now, traded the way they were, you have to invest in the belt itself. It's not just a lump of leather and fucking a couple of plates on them. And not only that, the blue belts are competing with the red belts, are competing with the fucking white and gold belts. There's 3 sets of tag now.
They're shy looking belts anyway. I'm just saying.
I like them. I've gone very fond of them. But we're on a rebuild, Joe. Like I said, the whole initial point of this is we have tag teams I want to see fight against each other. I mean, even if the Hurt Locker wasn't involved in the match. Yeah, you heard me.
Hurt business.
Heard me.
We know what the Hurt
I know.
Locker is. Anyway, lads, after all that, I'm gonna bring the tone. I'm gonna bring the tone of the pay-per-view really low now. Next up was the Netflix World Heavyweight Championship.
This is just ridiculous.
Ian, you take this one.
Oh, fuck off! It's
Can I have it actually? No.
Absolutely, Joe. Go ahead.
He's awake now.
No, you go for this. You go, please. Do me a favor, sir.
Bring back Bad Bunny, all's forgiven.
Yeah.
Let the man speak.
It was only a month ago we were telling how great Miz was.
Utter tripe. Move on to the next one.
Whoa.
So we'll go to Ian. So
7 minutes I'll never get back. Yeah, just I suppose to put a bit of context on it. Yeah, like the Miz again, we were putting him over, and you know, there's being a company guy and doing what you want to do, but there's also having a bit of fucking backbone and self-respect and kind of appreciation for what your value is, you know what I mean? And I think The Miz, just because he has his own TV show where he basically gets to show his life, I mean, it shows the kind of character that he is. He lives for the fame, doesn't he? Like, he's willing to whore out his bleeding kids and his wife and everything and his personal life just for that fame. And
he's probably at war with the business for them making him change out in the fucking hallway for 6 months.
Well, to be fair though, Jay, it's
really the business. See about that? Zombies.
Well, it was quite clear what he was all about, even as a younger man, like with the real life and all.
He's fame hungry.
About that.
Nobody's questioning his fame hunger.
I have to say during this match, sorry, Joe, to interrupt you. I have to say during this match, I did kind of like the idea of super kicking the head off zombies, but I was kind of at one stage. Was anyone expecting, you know, when they go to kick one of them, that it ended up being Batista or something like that?
Well, there you go. I haven't seen that film yet, but there you go. I would have liked that idea. I don't know, Joe. Please just help me out here with this one because I can't.
No, I was just going to say, look, the two guys, Damian Priest and Miz, they deserve more than that. Fucking, I don't even know what to call it. Would you call it a circus or a shit show? Because we
call it the continuing birth of cinematic wrestling. That's what
we touched on this. No,
this is something that Triple H is pushing, lads, as well. Like, so I mean, is he really the same?
I thought you only 2 episodes. You were his biggest fan.
Well, I am, but he's pushing this.
Oh, you are again.
Yeah, well, no,
it didn't sound like that the way you said that thing.
All right, well,
is he really the best? But he is.
Yeah, frizzy-haired fuck.
Frizz, bitch, I condition, bitch.
You do condition, I can tell. Condition your mouth and let me speak, yeah?
We'll see.
No, 95% of what Triple H does is great, to be fair. I would say he's probably appeasing the old man and just having a little bit of crack with this kind of stuff, to be honest with you. And again, they are trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. I don't think you're going to see these matches when live, you know, when asses are back in seats, personally. Well, I hope not.
Well, the cinematic backdrop wouldn't work really on a crowd, would it?
Yeah, that's the thing. So I think they are just trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. To be fair,
we spoke about this before. He is throwing every type and style of entertainment out there. He wants to market WWE as some kind of alternative fucking Disney Marvel. I mean, in one match we've got Ray.
Well, that's
like
that's her
Batman.
job. That's her. Actually,
yeah, but this is what I see. I see them seeing this cinematographic fucking sci-fi wrestling as a viable commodity, and I see them giving it an hour sometime in the future where these fucking Undertaker fucking grave matches and the zombies.
We won't be tuning in.
But that's your choice. Change the channel, turn it off.
Oh no, I said we won't be as a network.
Oh yeah, I'll probably watch a bit if I'm drunk or if I'm, you know, on the
I'll
devil's
join
nest.
you for that when we can meet up again. I'll join you. Yeah, we'll probably do.
You seen this shit?
But anyway, let's not make it about Triple H or anything. Like, to be fair, Joe, you were going to say something.
You did.
I was just going to say something. Just like when you said they won't be doing this kind of shit when there's live crowds there. Only a few minutes ago, lads, we were talking about how they disrespect live crowds by making lads redo moves. They'll fucking do what they want.
Oh yeah,
they will.
They've been pissing off live audiences for years.
Sure, Triple H has been redoing matches most of his career.
Ray Wyatt's match at WrestleMania.
Because he can't get it right the first time. Hey.
Ooh, 95% of the time.
I'd like to.
I'm only joking.
I'd like to correct that as well. That retake at Mania was actually Batista, not Triple H.
That's fair enough. Yeah, no.
But look again.
I felt so sorry for Triple H because he in that match, like, it was like he, you know, in his bones, he went and I legitimately mean this. It was like in his bones, he was like, yeah, I've been training, I'm ready for this, and then we got that. And it was
they probably in their heads they see that. Look, I mean, we've seen at WrestleMania the Alexa Bliss extension of Papa Shango fucking up the big man's bleeding head with goo. In somebody's head in that business, this is the best thing ever. There's a continual. It's nothing new, and I see somebody there having a hard on for it, and I don't see it going anywhere. In fact, I see the fact.
Yeah, no, you're probably right.
Look, we espouse the values of the dead man for fucking years. I mean, he says, "I will not rest in peace." Well, biology says you will, pal.
But at least he called it in the ring.
And this guy fucking says it too, because I love dead.
Yeah, but I suppose if you're I suppose if
Me
you're
too.
sitting, I suppose if you're sitting in the gorilla position holding that Netflix check where they just paid you $1 million for that spot, you're probably going, "This is all right, isn't it?"
Vince, they don't like your.
Standing
Listen,
there.
Can you give me a
When
second? I'm
WWE
rolling around in my money.
WWE and moral values don't go hand in hand when
just-
they're in bed with Saudi Arabia. So we may
Vince-
as well get that one out of the.
But it's nothing new, though, is it? It's nothing new.
No.
And for us to pretend that zombie lumberjack match is something new is us being fairly short-sighted in some of the shit we reviewed in
And
the
naive,
past.
yeah.
No,
You've Hunter there holding that Netflix check up to Vince, going, "I kind of like it."
That gets to
Hold
my
it, Vince.
that gets to my point a bit there, Niall, about like they've been pissing off audiences for years and smashing record profits every year. You know what I mean? They don't fucking care as long as
no,
the
because it's
checkbook-
working.
Yeah, exactly. As long as
Joe,
the checkbook-
the more people giving out about it, the more money they make.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna bump Triple H up to 100% now. Actually,
Jesus.
what he's actually doing is quite smart, right?
Jesus.
Because he's got his own little baby down in Florida in NXT where he can get his wrestling. out
Where
of the
wrestling
system.
is happening. Yeah.
And then he can just go up to the big man and go, "Vince, we got them. We got them." But he's like, "Finn, you're doing a fucking great job. Keep it real. None of this nonsense."
Now I'm off up there to tell Vince that we've never seen dinosaurs wrestle before.
And then it's one of those, kind of wink, wink, nudge, nudge. He's fucking crazy, man.
Let's
You figured it out right here on the 4 Podmen. It's
Let's-
100%. Triple H, you're 100% there.
Yeah.
we're over the
Love it.
halfway stage now, so let's raise the bar again.
Oh.
Bianca Belair versus Bailey.
Oh, the arse of the business, yeah.
We can't say enough good things about Bailey, really, can we?
Oh, well, for a start, she's the best arse in the business. Let's just start.
Controversial.
So we can't say enough things about Bailey. Ding dong, hello. I'm sort of it took me a while to get into the character, but I'm starting to get there now. But we can't say enough good things about Bailey.
She's brilliant. No, she is. She's brilliant. The mouth on the woman, how she gestures, she's an absolute joy to watch. I mean, she is. And the fact, right, that she can go all day long. Again, it's like the resurgence I was saying of tag wrestling. The mix in women is very healthy right now. Healthy fucking division, like, and we didn't say that 2 years ago.
Did you find her performance, Jay? I thought as well when she was going up.
Jesus, you said performance.
No, her performance against, like, even going up in the backstage segments at Mania when she was going.
I loved it.
To
I loved
Hogan,
it.
Nash, and Hall and all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Hogan, Nash, and Hall are three very fucking prominent characters in the history of wrestling, and she went up and just literally held her own.
Didn't give a damn.
Yeah.
Didn't give a
Yeah.
damn.
Lives it like she.
No fear. Yeah, no fear of anybody upstaging her because she knows her place and she knows her role. She knows her ability. She knows what she's capable of, and she knows she doesn't have to be in the ring week in, week out, breaking her body up to be an entertainment. The fact that she got paid to be at WrestleMania and not take a bump has to be a master class in what you
She's
need to do with your career. Like,
in the top 3 for me in women promos for sure of the girls.
Did she not take one bump at Mania? Didn't she go down the ramp?
did she?
Yeah, she did get thrown down the ramp. Yeah, remember they fucked her down the ramp.
Yes, they did. Forgive me, I
But,
forgot that.
I
Yeah,
think she's
well,
in the
so
top
many
3.
women took bumps down that ramp that night. It's hard to remember which was an accident and which wasn't. Like, but
She's
you don't get
definitely
paid for
in the
them
top
all.
3 though, for sure. Like, I mean, she's there with Becky. She's there. I mean, Becky's not in the
Rhea,
conversation anymore.
Charlotte, Becky, fucking
But I think Bailey
Belair.
Bailey and Charlotte, I think, are the 2 best promos in the game right now, as in for it being believable. I do like Rhea Ripley, but I still think some of it is forced. I think that will iron itself out over time.
I think Rhea's still very young in her career.
Yes.
I mean, but
That's
she's
all
been
I'm
very
saying.
patient. Yeah, it was
That's
like, I
all
mean,
I'm saying.
man, only 4 months ago we were arguing and complaining about the fact that the 2 girls who won the Ladies' Rumble were being seriously misused, and we're seeing again the birth of long-term storytelling with characters, and it's happening more so in the women's division than anywhere else. There's 5 or 6 top flight girls right there, and they're getting mileage and time out of them. Now I know the old trope currently online is triple threat. Look, The career of a wrestler is a long time when you've got nobody to wrestle who can meet you in the middle. Make the most of what you have. And sometimes it might not be to your taste. It might not be what everybody wants, but you can't have the blow off or the big one every fucking week. It gets old. These things have to be teased over time. I mean, we could come from a time where the feud went for
Problem is they
years.
can't do that anymore, Jay, when you got a 3-hour fucking weekly show, you know.
Well, that's it. There is a lot of space to fill, but they're doing it very well. They're allowing girls to come up when before they would have just had these three smashing into each other for a year, like, and then you just like, and again, this voluntary retirement or go away for a while. They're sending stars away for a year. And it's like, you know what? Go away. You're injured. Go away.
Remember
over
when
there.
Vince Russo tried
bring
to
you
do
back
that with
in.
WCW and like he got slaughtered for it? Do you remember? It's like, oh, it kind of makes sense now, doesn't it? You know what I mean? It's like, you know, for all the things Vince Russo was crucified for, he was crucified because he went into WCW, and this is going to lend itself to your point, Jay.
Mm-hmm.
He went in and told Ric Flair, Hogan, all the guys. I think the oldest guy on the roster he wanted to keep was Brett, obviously, because he thought he never got the proper WCW run that he should.
He was still in the mix. Yeah,
exactly. So he was still in the mix, and obviously Jarrett and all those guys he wanted to run with. And he goes, lads, go away for 6 months for a year. You're still getting paid. You come back, it's going to be a big deal. Oh, who's this motherfucker coming in thinking it's you know, it's
when you're hot, you have to have a cool off period.
Yeah.
Because you can burn out real quick.
Oh, hell yeah, man. What do you think territories? You go in for 6 weeks and you get the fuck out of there and you go to the next territory and you do the loop. They
lose your smile
loop for a reason. They call it a loop for a reason. Hot Rod made his fucking career on it.
Yeah. You can't have a comeback without going away. If you're there every week, you become a fixture.
Yeah. 1968 comeback special right behind you there, brother. Biggest
I'm
comeback
talking.
of all time. Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, 33.
But it makes sense, doesn't it? It's entertainment. That's the whole idea. Like they keep telling me it's entertainment. Well, then entertain and do it the right way. You know what I mean? It's like you know, it's like having Spider-Man. We all love Spider-Man, but at the end of the day, if you're getting Spider-Man every single fucking day of the week, and it's the same issue with no ending in sight, you're going, what the fuck? This is actually starting to bore the fuck out of me. I mean, I love Peter Parker, but I've had enough of Peter Parker now. But when you go away and you end the issue on the right fucking note, you're going, oh my God, what's going to happen here? Is that it?
It is a fuck that Marvel and DC shit. Joe, you wanted to make a point.
It was just on something Jay said, and I'm surprised I remember. But it was something Jay said about, you know, having these three people just smash against each other for the entire time. And it was only a few years ago, lads, that I'm sure you remember that the whole Charlotte Sasha fucking saga, where like every week they were swapping the title. You know what I mean? And it was it was silly to keep swapping the title and having them fight every fucking week. Now the two of them were brilliant. Don't get me wrong, the matches were good. But it just showed you the lack of what was available. Then no depth. Becky there. Becky hadn't hit her straps just yet. Paige was there, but I think it was not far off her injury, I don't think. You know, and you know, and Bailey had just come up as well. You know what I mean?
Sasha ended her career, in fairness.
Well, look, it was on. I think her career was unfortunately on the way out.
No, well, a kick to the back of the neck will solidify that, you know.
Yeah, I think that just sped it up. But like, it just shows that like they took who at their time were their two best, and just decided to hot dog the title between them. And it ended up pissing everybody off. You know what I mean? It's just like, Jesus Christ. There are other women there. Give them some fucking go.
Right, that was Charlotte chasing the old man's career. Will you stop?
I don't think so. I don't think she had that influence. I don't think she had that kind of influence at the time.
Well, it was because every week she came out with him going, woo! The only way that Charlotte made her own way was when she got rid of the old man and didn't do the woos anymore. I think personally.
But there is talent there that's unfound because they lean so heavily on what pays. They are unwilling to take a chance on what is an unknown commodity. I mean, it could be argued that the only reason that we have Becky ascended to the point where she is because of the busted nose that night. And then the company looked at her and went, what was that? Like, well, you could have had this at any point, but
that was Becky.
You chose the room with what you had.
And that was Becky taking her fucking knowledge of knowing where the hard camera is and knowing Her kind of act. What you mean? Don't nod your head. What are you talking about?
I'm once again, Ian, I will correct you. I'm shaking my head.
You're not going to correct
right?
me.
I'm not nodding at him because I'm not agreeing with him. Look, Becky herself admitted that she was concussed, hadn't a fucking clue what was going on. It was just that she has natural charisma, and she just fucking
Slipped into autopilot.
You can't say, Ian, when she was
Sorry, Richie.
when she said herself that she was out of it. No, Ian, she said herself that she was out of it. It's just that she has natural charisma, and she just stood there and fucking posed, and it was brilliant.
I'm gonna let you go with that one then. That's no problem. Yep.
Yeah, but look, hey, listen, it doesn't matter the details to point who it was or who has whose phone number. The simple fact is, it was a cusp chance by a young lady, regardless of where she's from, at a moment in time that made the production truck turn around, look and go, that's not Last Kicker. That's not you wearing fucking some strappy gimmick we've put on you. What's that and why is it working so hot? It was a lucky point and a lucky
first person in history to get concussed with a busted nose.
It was your John 3:16 moment.
All you need is a knock on the head to hurt your brain. I mean, it's all connected. Regardless of biologically speaking, the nose is on the head. You know,
well,
biologically.
Anyway, let's.
Oh no! Hold on! No! I'm going to question that.
Ian,
are you saying lads can't get concussed when they get hit in the chin?
I'm just
learn your anatomy, gobshite. Fuck's sake!
Gobshite.
Whoa!
Calm yourself, you fat-headed little coachy prick. Don't come at me, calling me a dope. Now you have something to say, right? Be professional there, son.
Get him, Joe.
Get back in your box.
Now we've another debate lined up.
Back in my box.
Be professional, son, and get back in your box.
You're saying you can't get concussed from someone punching you in the face.
It's quite clearly a joke because I can see your head. Just. I've had more concussions than you. What are you doing with your head there?
We know.
Like a plum.
You're
think you're talking to on our show here? Who do you honestly think you're talking to?
So you're telling me you're just pretending to be stupid. You're not actually.
It was a joke. It's called a joke. Yeah. Stupid, says the lad who can't remember 5 minutes ago when I asked him a question. Would you ask me, bollocks? Joe, do you want to come in here? Oh, I can't remember what you were saying. And he has the gall to call me stupid.
That's forgetful. That's not stupid.
You
said, I don't know if anyone can get concussed by getting their nose broken.
It's a joke. It's a joke because
bollocks, it's a joke. You got called out and now you're trying to save face.
Didn't get called that, Joe. Do you have too many beers or?
No, not at all.
I definitely have. I'm going to have more.
This is Joe's last show tonight, anyway.
Hey, people, if you want more content like this, you'll find the link down below. Buymeacoffee.com.
Joe, try not to lose your smile.
You'll have to edit this out anyway, Noel, because he's actually gone after this one.
Joe, I want you to take this next match. I know you're a big fan of Bobby Lashley and his work at the moment. Absolutely outstanding. And MVP, absolutely outstanding. So Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman. One of you needs to take this. I just don't like triple threats. I can't get into them at all.
Again, sorry, forgive me for interjecting there, Joe, but what I seen was divisional separation and segmentation of pro wrestling, which made it great. I seen 3 big men in the ring. There was no weird twisted gambit. It was 3 boys who liked to go. It was a hardy fucking knock. Do you know what I mean? It was an elevation of where the business used to be, where the top title could be passed around by anybody of any size. Not that that's a bad thing, but it was a big man brawl, and they seem to be doing that more and more and more with the likes of the Drew and Sheamus fucking run of matches. It was the overriding theme from this whole card. The divisional separation and the impetus for the division to be that division for people who belong there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it was a case of they started out the pay-per-view so strong with the women's triple threat. And I think then they moved on at this stage in the card and it was the men's triple threat, but it was like fire and brimstone, really, wasn't it? It was just hard hitting, hard,
hating each other.
Yeah. And but yeah, I suppose Joe touched on it at Mania and even before Mania when we were discussing the Hurt Business, aka the Hurt Locker on this podcast. But Lashley, being such a specimen, and MVP is just like that. He's like the the CEO of a hip hop rap sort of record company or something like that, and he just stands back. But the stuff he comes out with is absolutely brilliant in the dynamic with Bobby Lashley there, you know. Joe, what was your thinking there? I know you're a huge fan of Bobby at the moment and his work.
Yeah, I've loved Bobby for a long time, like, but he's like WWE are finally seeing the light with him, like, excuse me, but he's brilliant, and I'm glad they gave him the title and that he's held on to it too, like, and the only thing is, like yourself now, triple threats can be a bit of a shit show, like where one guy has to sell for half an hour while the two lads are doing their thing, and then the
It
next
seems to be a current
out.
meme at the moment, doesn't it? It's like it seems to be a current WWE meme at the minute. The more people mock their triple threat approach, they're like, guess what's this week? It's like Teddy Long all over again. Triple threat.
Yeah.
No,
Why? Because it pisses everyone off.
Yeah.
Because it's three big behemoths just bashing into each other. You know what I mean? But I don't think it needed to be a triple threat. I think it was unnecessary for it to be a triple threat.
Yeah.
But that's what they decided to do, because I suppose they wanted to try and save face maybe or something like that for the boys. Like, but look, it wasn't bad. You know,
I think you see Lashley and McIntyre there, but Strowman, as big as he is, and he's a monster amongst men, as they call him, you know. But you never regard him as being in the picture of the triple threat. You know, he's like nearly the guest referee who goes into business for himself, and he's kind of like just there, like a big man to throw in the mix.
It's weird. He hasn't got over that time since fucking Roman came back again, like we said before, with the new teeth, and just kind of back kicked him out of the ring. And we're like, what happened there? And Bray, both of them were just used to go away. This you don't belong here. Yeah. And he hasn't got over that since. I mean, the Donnybrook with Shane, that just was unbelievable, and not in the good way. I mean, it was fun to watch, but it wasn't Mania quality. And it's just like, bring Braun in. Why? Somebody needs to bait him. You know what I mean?
And it's kind of, the funny thing about it is, we know he's obviously working really, really hard. You can see the shape he's after getting into and stuff like that. He's in phenomenal shape now and stuff like that. So he's obviously working his backside off, both in the gym and probably in the ring as well. You know what I mean? But it's just, I don't know, they just haven't hit that point with him where I'm going to invest myself in him yet. And putting him in triple threats, really, like that crowbar and in, really doesn't. For me, the triple threats, they don't do anything for me.
As you said, no, I think they see that he's working really hard. They just don't know what to do with him. So they're crowbarring him into these kind of things. Just kind of, we have to do something with him, because he is kicking ass and people do like to watch him. We have to do something with him.
You know, he's funny. He has no strap charisma. I mean, you can put the belt around his waist, but you're not going to want to hear him talk. And they're not willing to put somebody beside him. So, you know,
it's a real issue. Yeah, and the golf gear as well. I'm not too the golf gear doesn't do it for me either. Like, you know what I mean? He's coming out with like the polo necks on and stuff like that. I can't take to him at all. You know. Let's move on to the main event. This is one I really enjoyed. Insofar as I seen another layer again now of Roman Reigns, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. And I'm really starting to enjoy the dynamic with the Usos as well. Like that nobody's bitch thing is just quality, and so simple. Jay, what was you thinking on this one?
Fuck, he's good.
He is good, isn't he?
He's fucking good. He's good. You can do what you want with him. Even again, the overriding feeling I took from this card, and I watched it begrudgingly. I did. And the rewards for me as a long-time wrestling fan were tenfold. Every match I could see a reason why things were happening. I could see a future. I could see progression in storytelling, which pays off in pay-per-view and not week-to-week bullshit. The whole, like I said, the Uso boys with him, his mouth, it doesn't matter who you put him in with, he's fucking gold. And every time I see him, I'm surprised again at how good he is from the last time. It's like, how much is left in you, son? And I know by that cheeky fucking shit-eating grin on his face, so much more. We're not even anywhere near it. And the fact that usually this time last year, if you said, right, Cesaro's going in against fucking Roman, I would have went, well, you know what? This is as close as Cesaro's going to come to that fucking belt. They've took what they were putting into him for the last 2 months and pissed it up against the wall, and it's futile. No, the storytelling was brilliant. They elevated Cesaro from a nobody up into a fucking top flight level. It mightn't be this time, but who knows, the year down the pike, and the way the match ended, like whipping Cesaro out of the equation as just some gimme loser for a pay-per-view against Roman and throwing him into another fucking situation where you're like, I don't even care about that other Roman shit that was highly entertaining. Now I care about this fucking. Do you know what I mean? There was so much happening in it as at the climax of a pay-per-view. It was like, you've given me back the tag divisions, you've given me back strong women's wrestling, you've given me back so much in this card that I'm feeling hopeful for going forward in the pay-per-view series. And now you're going to crown it with arguably the most charismatic man on television, who just happens to be an excellent wrestler, very easy to watch, and has this little fucking tribal chief clique going on behind him with a Heyman in the mix.
Yeah.
Where he's waiting until Peacock paid you all this money before he's got good again, because it's clearly available to you when you still want to sit down and be like, actually, you know what? Now that we've sold all our shares and we're worth loads of money, here's that wrestling that you used to love again.
Yeah. I can't tell you guys how much I popped for that bit when he was on the mat and he turns around to Cesaro in that Swiss accent and goes, "Oh, you love wrestling." And I just went, wow, that just shot me to the moon in terms of rides. It was just absolutely brilliant. And just, it was nearly like, one of those inside rib piss takes. And it was so good. In other words, you might love wrestling, but you're terrible. And everyone knows how good Cesaro is. But he was just going, "You're
I'll
nowhere
let you touch me belt."
What are you even doing here? Yeah. And
how'd you get to the last half hour of a pay-per-view, pal?
The only thing is, I thought he was going to get up there and go, I thought he was going to start doing all that stuff and everything. But it was absolutely gold, and just peeled back another layer of that orange that's Roman Reigns. It was fantastic.
But it was a run on as well. It was an extension of what Rollins was doing with him at Mania.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Telling him he wasn't good enough. He couldn't get he wasn't reaching for the brass ring and all that.
You're not there yet.
Yeah, exactly. It was that.
Oh, he was there. You weren't.
Yeah, exactly. It's that same kind of thing. And as you said, Jay, what are you doing in the last half hour of a pay-per-view? Like, it's just that it's the constant beating down of him to hopefully a big cathartic moment for us and him alike.
What are you making of the whole Seth Rollins thing coming out in? I can't even begin to describe the clothing these days. Like, he's sort of like if the Greatest Showman and Braun Strowman had a son. This is the Seth Rollins you get in these crazy kind of suits that he begins to wear. He's clearly obviously getting paid money by someone to wear these because they're absolutely god awful. But he comes out then and starts getting involved where it's clearly not needed at all. Like.
Yo, I got this tribal chief. I was like, I didn't ask you to come here. Why are you here?
Yeah, it was like, and you see Reigns looking at him going, like it was about 3 years ago we quit the Shield. The Shield is done. Like, did you fuck up here or what? Like,
I got this. It's like, you don't got anything. What you need is a tailor.
Yeah, someone give Moxley a ring. The reunion is on, baby.
Meanwhile, over in AEW,
back at the ranch. But yeah, I don't know. I presume this is going to culminate with, obviously, are we going to get a Rollins Reigns? We have to, really, don't we?
Who knows? They're telling stories again. And
within stories.
The onion has layers.
Yeah, but I just thought, like, even though it was kind of a weird finish and then Rollins coming out, but I can't love Reigns enough at the moment. I just think he's
he's goosebump shit. He's, for want of a better term, it's borderline rock level for me. He's fun to watch, but he's also a badass, and he can go, and he loves his fucking gimmick. He loves his character, and you're like, now I'm paying attention. Now you got me, son. You lost me for a while with your new teeth. Now I'm back in.
But if you look back when he was a face, like, and he was being rammed down our throats, like, and everyone hated him. If you saw him in interviews outside of WWE, he was so awkward. You know what I mean? You just knew in deep down he was desperate to be a heel. And now he's been handed that ball, and by God, has he run with it? He's fucking marvelous to watch.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I mean, it's nothing like a close reality call with death to turn around and go, I fancy being a bastard for a while. You know what I mean? To leave that kind of mark, So lads, absolute pleasure reviewing the pay-per-view, and anyone who hasn't seen it, go watch it, because I thoroughly enjoyed most of it, bar the Netflix
and didn't expect to. And even that was fun to laugh at. I really didn't expect to enjoy that pay-per-view as much as I did. I really didn't. It was out of left field, man. I haven't felt like that about pro wrestling in a long time. Hopeful.
Yeah, absolutely. So as always, Dynamo Podcast on YouTube. Dynamo Podcast Network on YouTube. The 4 Podmen reviewing the Backlash pay-per-view. Audio versions of the show on Anchor. And of course, if you want to contact us, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. This has been your Backlash review. Cheers, lads.